Bow hunting all comes down to a moment. And in the moment, you want equipment on your bow that will get the job done. Trophy Ridge products are the tools bow hunters trust. React Technology sights, rests, stabilizers, and quivers to help a bow hunter be successful in the field. And those tools are from Trophy Ridge.
Shh. Hear that? Big waves are calling. Dive into refreshment with Kona Big Wave. Tropical flavor and the taste of aloha in every drop. So crack one open and let the great taste roll in. Kona Big Wave, Liquid Aloha. Copyright 2025 Kona Brewing Co., St. Louis, Missouri. Mahalo for enjoying responsibly.
I'm back, dude. I'll tell you, it's like resurrection of the whitetail hunters, I think is what it is. I think it's the week of resurrection. Because all the whitetail hunters came out of the woodwork and all decided to join the party. So we want to welcome all of you guys here. We thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. So some of you will get that and some of you won't. But anyways, so
hey, legends never die.
that's right. Sun never sets on a badass. So anyways, anything new and exciting? You get any more cameras out or anything like that, or what's going on in the world of Stevie?
No more cameras out, but I did get my package from Troy, so I slipped back into some of the cameras I already had out, and I overmarked them with Troy's juice.
Results good, bad, evil?
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
So I went in and put 2 cameras up, 2 number 2 hotspots. I had Troy's stuff left over. They came in and checked it the first 2 nights, and it's been kind of slow, to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I have no idea. I got to kind of venture around in there and see if maybe I'm just not in the right spot again. I don't know. It was weird. That wasn't the results I had thought of or thought I was going to get. But it's that time of year, I guess, right?
You got confident, especially mock scrape, right? Like, you're not putting it on like some crazy food pattern or field edge or something like that. So I struggle with that too, right? Because sometimes I put my mock scrapes in like an oak flat. That probably not on an oak flat in the summer, right? Like,
I wouldn't. There's some oaks around, but they're dropping ones.
Sometimes I put my cameras in this time of year, and I don't really expect dailies now, but that camera's gonna be in the right spot, and at least by the end of September, it's gonna go off.
Yeah, I'm not worried about where it is. Like, it might not produce now, but it might produce later. I definitely want to go in and kind of broaden my circle. And maybe put another camera in there, and definitely, I saw what I needed to see. I mean, let's be honest. I saw what I needed to see. The deer that I was looking for showed up on the mock scrape 2 hours after I had made the mock scrape. So I'm well aware that he's there. He's alive. He's within the area. He just hasn't come back on camera, and I'm fine with it. Like, I saw what I needed to see.
Right.
That area will heat up. I know it will. For sure. So it's just. This is just a waiting game. And like we always say, what do you need to see him for? You need to see him grow? We already know he's there.
He's back.
He's back. He's back too.
Everybody's back.
Everybody's back. It's that time of year. Everybody's back.
Stay tuned. We're back.
We're back. We got good things coming, I promise, like everybody.
It's going to be different this time.
No, actually, nothing's going to change here. Everything's going to be the same as what it's always been, a shit show. So don't expect anything new. We're going to do the same thing here.
Consistency, baby.
That's it. Just keep doing it.
It's only a shit show, but it's consistent.
Whether it's a good thing or good consistency or bad consistency, it's still consistency. So... sorry, it's a little inside joke we got going on. But if you watch social media, you kind of know. No, but I think I'm looking forward to the weekend. Seeing everybody. Looks like there was a lot of newer vendors at the Wildwood Farm for hunt stock. So kind of pumped about that. They did. Did you see that they're bringing the 3 biggest deer or whatever, like world record status 8-pointer and some other crazy Maine deer. They're gonna be there on Saturday, which is kind of cool.
Vinyl?
Huh?
The vinyl?
No. not the vinyl buck. It's another one. He's like 204 mainframe. Pretty crazy. It's a world record 8-pointer.
2048.
I believe so. I think that's what it is. I'm almost or maybe it 2048, but it might be gross. Net was like, it might even. I don't even know. Hold on, let me see. Let me do some Jamie research here real quick. Well,
pull it up.
Yeah, I was. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Oh, that's not it. Oh, maybe that is it. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, deer camp, blah, 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 ridgeline. Okay, here she is. All right, come to see the 3 real non replicas giants on Friday and Saturday. The Maine state record, the Hill Gound buck, the Silver Ridge buck, and the Ramsey buck. First show in the Northeast he's ever been to. There was some facts. Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Maine in 1910, he grows 273 inches and netted 259. That's the biggest one. Then there's the 8-point. It scores 202 gross and 184 net. So,
Sweet.
and then there was another one. It was 255, 48 gross, 255 and 4 ace gross, and 225 and 6 ace net. So that one was shot in 1949. So.
And he's back. So.
And he's back. Cool. All 3 of them. They're all back. So. But no. So make sure to stop in. See us at Huntstock. We'll be there.
Tall tines.
What's that?
I bet he's got some tall tines.
Oh, he's got tall tines. Yeah. So make sure to swing by Huntstock. Come and see us. We'll be in our normal spot. If you guys haven't know where that is, you will find us. We're on the corner as always. We're working the corner. So stop in and see us. I'm actually pretty excited. I got a text message from Pat I wasn't going to enter this, but I ended up pulling together a short film, probably one of the shortest ones in there. It's probably like a 6-minute film, and put it into the film festival. First one ever, and got into the top 10. So we'll see what happens. That's going to pop off tomorrow night, or tonight, Thursday, in podcast land. So that'll be kind of cool to go see.
How many videos are in the top 10?
There's 10 in the top 10, but entered, Steve, was 18 was entered. I guess you just misread that text. That had nothing to do with me, buddy.
I thought it was hilarious.
Well, I mean, it guessingly could be taken both ways. So what Steve's talking about is, I got the text message that I was in the top 10, and I said, how many were how many?
No, you said out of how many?
Out of how? Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I bet you it's 10.
Yeah.
In the top 10.
Out of how many? And I meant like how many were submitted, and there's 18 submitted. So it'll be cool. There's some big dogs in there though. Some real big dogs. So we'll see what happens. It'll be a good weekend. I always look forward to going to the Wildwood Farm and seeing those guys. They're just all genuine good dudes. We leave there with a smile on our face. Everyone that comes down and hangs out with us. Bittman's gonna be there hanging with us. The Carpenters. I'd imagine. I'm willing to put $100 on the line that Jeremy McGillicuddy's probably gonna stop by at some point.
That's a safe bet, unconfirmed, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I might be able to. We don't see him, to be honest with you. I'd be like,
dude, listen. That boy went all the way to New York to hang out with us at a show one time. If he's not going to Huntstock, we have a problem.
Yeah. We'll see.
It looked like Mason Perkins was coming up and chilling, so it'll be a bunch of cool dudes. What is
this? The 4th year?
Yeah, 4th year.
Yeah.
Or maybe 4th.
It's getting to that vibe where it's like you definitely look forward to like, just like going to Harrisburg. Like there's certain people that you only see at that show, and like, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
Everybody's back.
Beyond the boundaries. We don't get to see them boys much, but when they're across the way from us, I love them boys. They're such good dudes.
Perfect example. The only time of year we really see Ian and Dawson is at Huntstock.
But you look forward to seeing them at Huntstock.
100%.
We see Jake from Bow Minded all the time, but it's just great to see him at Huntstock. Like,
yeah, we spend more time with him though, I think, at Huntstock. And then he's like a little stray dog. He comes down when we fire up the grill, and then we kind of got to feed him. And
Yeah.
Good.
I want to talk gear real quick.
Oh,
Latitude is just
yeah.
on fire. The Method 3, that I so it's kind of funny is one of our good buddies, Barnesy, hits me up and was saying like, "Hey, do you have the Method 3 yet? I'm gonna be at Huntstock. If you have it, can you bring it? I'd like to sit in it." And I was like, "I don't know, man. You'd be pretty hard pressed to get me out of the Lone Star, right? Like, bro." And then I started watching videos and looking at some of these release photos and stuff. That looks pretty sick. The Method 3 definitely does. So that thing's that's gonna be something to contend with for sure.
Yeah, I'd be curious to try it out myself because I ran the Method 2 for years,
Mm-hmm.
and then went to the Maverick and the Lone Star, and
Yeah.
like you said, once you get in the Lone Star, you're like, I'm done. Like this is it. My ass has found a home. But then you see the Method 3, and you're like, I kind of want to try it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I've always been a single panel saddle person for the past 10 plus years that I've been saddle hunting. I've definitely been a single panel saddle hunter. But looking at that thing, dude, it makes me just want to curl up in it like a hammock. Like that thing is just so. It just looks soft. It just looks like it's got a lot of good features to it. So.
You know how it is, though, dude. They single panel or double panel, they both got their pros and their cons.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be things about running two panel that's better, and there's things about single panel that's better. But like, dude, last year in the Lone Star is the most I've consistently been locked in comfort in a tree in my life. Like there was times, I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast. I wanted to move midday, and I was so comfortable. I was like, I don't really want to move. Like this is perfect, and I ended up tearing down. But if you're not comfortable, it's kind of easy to convince yourself to just tear down, move, and set back up. But when you're melted into your saddle and you're just comfortable, you're like, I don't really want to move.
Yeah. and the other thing, I mean, I'll say it, and I said it 100 times over, and you've said it 100 times over. Don't sleep on the Maverick neither, because that's another saddle that's top notch, checks every single box. Like just doesn't have the frills that the Lone Star has. But I would put it to bat against it any day of the week. Like I love both those saddles. Like to have those in the weapon drawer is definitely by far.
I would have a really hard time choosing just one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I would probably have to go with the Lone Star because it is a Cadillac,
Right?
But I'll rock that Maverick for sure. September and October probably until like late October or into November, and then I'll switch over to the Lone Star when I start doing like longer all day sits.
I think the Maverick with the versatility, the lightness, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
light, dude. You're so fast in that thing.
You don't even know you have it on. The mobility. I mean, it just. I don't know.
I'm curious if the Method 3 is like that middle of the road, like the lightness and the quickness and the low profileness of the Maverick with some Lone Star comfort.
So that's kind of what I kind of took from it. And also, I mean, they had changed some features like the magnets, where the magnets are, so they're not on the side, they're on the back. Like they definitely, as always with Latitude and anything that they design, just like they just designed this new pouch and some of the other things that they've kind of come out with. And then, we heard a rumor, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but the 33, the backpack, but they've always... They start with something, and then you're like, oh, this is the most badass thing, and then they just progressively add more and more and more add-ons to it, and you're like, it's like buying a base model truck, right? And you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like this thing's pretty badass. I can get used to this, and you start to go, and then you put new tires on it. Oh, this is actually really nice. And that's how Latitude progressively goes. Like you're a young kid and you buy that base model, and then you start to add things to it, new speakers, tinted windows, and that's kind of how Latitude kind of comes out. So who knows what they have to hold in the future, but there's some really good stuff. So make sure to go over and check those guys out and follow along.
But the new dump pouches.
Yeah.
That's like nothing else on the market. That's what Latitude does. They don't just like duplicate other shit. If they're going to come out with something, they're going to break the mold. They did it with the sticks. They've done it with they've done it with
They
saddles.
did it with bow holders.
They did it with bow holders, and now they do it with.
They did it with ropes. They did it with like.
Now they do it with a freaking dump pouch. Like
Yeah.
there's no other dump pouch on the market that's anything close to
Not
what
even
that
close.
thing is.
No. So make sure to get on over their website, get in on their newsletter so you don't miss out, because you can get on the early releases and stuff and being in the newsletter, and always pay attention to what they got going
Get
on.
those text messages because they'll text you the day before something new comes out, so you're ready and use that promo code.
What is it?
Outdoor Drive.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't a trick question. I was just asking to you.
Oh, it sounded like you had like a little emphasis on the. It sounded like you were talking in like it was like
I'm back.
bold. You're talking in italics.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they've definitely captivated it. And Huntworth is another one. I don't know if you saw the email that had come out about them. They have some really cool stuff coming out with some silent rain gear and that kind of stuff. Pretty cool, pretty awesome. So make sure to check those guys out over at Huntworth Gear. And then while we're on it, might as well keep rolling right through it. Bowtech, refuse to follow. If you guys haven't shot a Bowtech, make sure to shoot one. And then Saddies, Fatties. If you guys are in the market for some predator rounds or duck rounds, or even thinking about turkey hunting already, make sure to see our boy Mr. Satterfield over at Saddies LLC. And then last but not least, our boys at Working Class Bow Hunter, WCB podcast, Mr. Kurt, King Kurt and Doug and Eric and all them good boys. They just released that new series. Did you get a chance to look at any of those videos yet, bro?
But I've been busy, dude. I've been watching a lot of Kill Tony. That's a lie.
I'll tell you what. The new series definitely knocked it out of the park, dude. And I'm so proud of those guys and what they're doing with that. It's really cool. It's really cool to sit down and watch, and it's funny because, just knowing them for so long, and like watching them podcast, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not videoing." Oh no! And then they got Jordan on the team, and now it's like full fledged. The boys are getting after it, and they unmolded right. So it's really cool. So make sure to go check them out. If you want to get some merch from them, make sure to use the promo code also over there, the Outdoor Drive, as you guys all know. And then we'll be this weekend at Huntstock, dude. So if you guys are bored, need something to do,
We're back.
Yeah, we're back at Huntstock. So make sure to swing in, check us out. We'll have some merch with us. We'll have a bunch of T-shirts, a couple of hats. I think there's some tumblers left in the trade box. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Got some new stickers. I had a little malfunction problem with stickers this past couple weeks. I went to go order stickers, and then I actually double ordered from one company, and then it wouldn't let me pay for some reason. So I hit them up, and I'm like, hey, I can't pay. And they're like, oh, just reorder. And then I'm like, okay, no problem. The next morning, or that night, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to another company because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them in time. Like, it's a week and a half out. Like, I need to get the stickers.
Remember the time your brother had to bring up our stickers on Saturday?
Yeah, well, no, because the company is pretty fast, right? Like, I use Sticker Mule, and they're super fast. And so I went to another sticker app or whatever the fuck it was. I don't even remember. And I ordered another 260 or 460. And so that order ended up going through. And I was like, all right, cool. The next morning, Sticker Mule hit my account. I'm like, oh, shit. Now what? Now I got 500 and... No, actually, I have 960 stickers of the Outdoor Drive. But the sticker, the first company that took my money, they're actually bigger, dude. They're like 4x3. They're giant.
Really?
Yeah, they're super nice.
Oh, nice.
They're really nice stickers. And then the normal ones that we had gotten from last time.
How many of the big ones did you get?
460.
Oh, all right. So this weekend at the Outdoor Drive booth, it is buy one sticker, get two free, and they're free. So just everybody gets stickers.
Yeah. We have an umpteen amount of stickers.
Umpteen?
Yeah, like a copious amount of stickers. Pretty cool stickers too. So
Chev's talking in AI now.
No, I'm just tired, bro. Just packing and getting ready. You know how it goes, and just a lot fucking shot. But Be nice
Yeah.
and
I'm
relaxing.
glad I kind of like started like mulling through my stuff periodically for like the last week and just making sure I knew what I had and what I needed, and I didn't kind of cram it all in the last minute. I was in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, my stuff was all put together. It's just putting it all in the truck and organizing it, I think, is the hard part, right? Like,
I always like just like my hunting gear. Like sometimes I just like to like tear it apart just to see what I got and like pack it back together. Like, you know what I mean?
You're a
Then I
fucking
like
sicko.
put eyes on everything and I like fresh in my mind. I know what's there. You know.
Yep. Oh, I totally agree with you. I just hate to get somewhere and not have something. I mean, I've driven halfway across the country and forgot my blanket and pillow, so.
You forgot your clothes when you went to Vermont.
Oh, yeah, I did, and I had to go to Walmart and buy new clothes. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I'm good for leaving something behind at all times.
That's all right. We'll be all right. We ain't gonna starve.
No,
We'll be all right.
no, the coolers are packed. So make sure to come up and see us, check us out, have fun with us, buy a t-shirt, whatever, or don't. Kick rocks at us, we don't care.
2 quick mentions before we get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
One, I promised my buddy Brian Osborne I'd give him a little vibes on the podcast. So he's actually going to be on the podcast in a couple weeks. He's going on an elk hunt to Utah. I really wanted to get him on before he left to give him a little luck of the podcast. But schedule-wise and all that stuff, we couldn't get it lined up. So I just want to put it out in the atmosphere and mention him on the podcast. Maybe it brings him some luck in Utah and he shoots an elk and then comes back and comes on the podcast and you can talk about that.
Is it a DIY for him?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
DIY, but he like made acquaintances out there with like kind of some local guys that kind of took him under his wing. So it's like, but they just met through social media and they linked up and now they're buddies. So
Antler or antlerless?
I'm not sure.
Hey, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just asking. And hopefully the luck of the podcast hits him right in the face.
Yeah, 100%. But that'll be cool. So put that out there. We'll talk to him in a couple weeks. And then the other one I wanted to, I guess it's not a shout out, but like maybe thoughts. You see what happened to Higgins last week?
I did see what happened to Higgins.
Dude, helicopter ride to the hospital and everything, man.
Do you know much of the story? I was gonna like message him and say what up, and I've been so busy.
He was walking across the yard to go to the bass boat to get something out of the boat
at night.
No, because the helicopter was there. It wasn't dark. So was he late afternoon, early evening?
Yeah.
And got bit on top of the foot by a 15-inch copperhead.
A little guy.
Yeah, thank God it was a little guy.
He said he gave it the 1-2 thump right in the forehead.
He did. Yep. Yep. So, but yeah, scary situation there, man, because, you know, next thing you know, he's at the hospital taking antivenoms and all that shit. So,
is he doing better?
I think he's all right. I text him. I think I waited until the next day and I was like, yo, you dead? And he's like, nah, I ain't dead. And I was like, oh, that's good. And we talked a little bit about it, but then I've texted him twice since and I haven't heard from him, so he might be dead now.
Oh.
But no, I think he's just
chilling, just relaxing, yeah. That's a scary fucking thing, dude. Could you imagine?
Oh, yeah. No.
And I think the craziest thing about that whole thing, right? Like, especially for them boys, but like, and us too, but them specifically because, yo, they're out in it all the time. In the marshes, the swamps, this, that, and the other thing, wearing Crocs, like, all up in the grit and the grind and nutty, and, like, he gets bit in his front lawn, bro.
In his yard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, we, like us too, but, like, been in some crazy situations where, like, any of that shit could have went down a 10 foot.
Brushed up to your waist or, you know, chest high. Yeah.
You walk out to virtually walking out to get his mail, bro, and gets whacked right in the front lawn. Like,
yeah. Yeah, well, not to mention he's got all those kids running around the yard playing all the time, too. It could have been one of them. He's had a dog get bit before, too.
That's crazy.
But anyway, so thoughts and prayers with him for speedy recovery. And, you know, I think about him every day. And, like, man, you don't want that to happen to anybody.
No. Yeah. Wow. It's crazy. Well, I guess we'll get on with Dave and talk with Dave about some dog training, and our boy moved from the Midwest over here to the East Coast and all the good things he's got going on, and the duck hunting and bass fishing. I think he really wanted to talk bass fishing, but we drug him right down the wagon tail side, and he that's where he wanted to be.
Hey, when I was talking to him at Wettish's Pig Roast, I asked him what he wanted to talk about, and back then he wanted to talk about the dog training. So,
but now he wants to talk about smallmouth in the St. Lawrence because that's what he's doing. But
you get hooked on something, it's all you think about and all you want to talk about, and
Yeah. Well, it's a good podcast, anyways, for you guys that want to tune in about dog training, the rights and the wrongs. I think we'll do another podcast with him about bass fishing. But
Dave's just an all around, just awesome dude. Just like the best, man.
He's
like
the best.
No matter what you want to talk about, man, he's like all in,
Oh, 100%. It doesn't really matter. I love chilling with Dave. Dave's one of my favorites. Same thing goes to show, like, go to a show and somebody you want to see when you're there, and Dave is one of those guys that you want to chill with. There's a couple of them. The other one being Dave also, but yeah. Yeah, let's get the podcast underway, man, so we can get going, rocking and rolling. And if you guys are listening to this, turn the car to Westminster, Massachusetts, and come and hang out with us because we're back.
Because we'll see you at
Huntstock. The Outdoor Drive Podcast. I'm now Dave Parrish. How are you, Dave?
Doing good, bud. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Good times, good times. What is this thing you're talking about now? Where's Dave?
Oh, no. We have a good friend of ours, Caleb, and he is off the wall all the time, like like a mat, right? Like just like fire all the time, complete fire. We hit that record button, dude, and that boy just
cleans up.
like, you can't get a word in. I mean, like we can't even peel it out of him. We couldn't beat it out of him. So we.
Like, where did your personality go?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Yeah, where'd Dave go? No, but I don't think Dave's like that. But we'll find out. So, Dave, why don't we hit this thing right into four-wheel drive? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do?
My name's Dave Parrish. I hunt. I fish. From Minnesota, moved out to the East Coast. So it's been a little bit of a transition. Been duck hunting pretty much all my life since I was a little kid. Bass fishing the same exact way. I grew up wanting to be a professional bass fisherman when I was a kid. That was my jam. And then, like we talked about a little bit, I bought a Chessie, and that Chesapeake Bay Retriever drug me into duck hunting more than I was. So I dabbled into duck hunting. I was not huge into waterfowl. I was a bass fisherman, and that dog really got me fired up. So if you've ever had a dog that does that, it's something to where you have to honor that dog and take him where he wants to go. So duck hunting was his deal. So that's really what happened. Grew up in Minnesota, moved out to the East Coast about 15 years ago. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve, but mostly just turning partridge into grouse and whatever else you guys call your fish out here.
Yeah.
Like you don't call them dogfish either; you call them something else.
We call them that would be a
bowfin.
Bowfin, correct?
Yep, bowfin. Yeah.
Which that species is not a species that has been around for a very long time here. It's probably, I'd say, 15 years, maybe. We just started to see them, and now the population has really started to boom. I remember being in my late teens and started to catch them in the Connecticut River, but like guys would bring them into the bait shop, and people were like, what are these? And I'm like, let me look that up on Google. Oh, that's a bowfin.
Right. We don't have them for much longer, dude. Jitterbug showed me every single one that he's caught in the last 2 years. Like, that population's on the decline. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, they're a fun fish to catch, man. They're ferocious, and we've caught some in the Connecticut River, and they're just monsters out there. So
And they're
yeah,
kind of like a snakehead, but they're not good eating like a snakehead is.
like because we're gonna talk about eel pout. You eat one first, and then you tell me how it is, and
All
then
right.
I'll come back and then.
I do have a question. Who was your idol bass fisherman? Wanting to be a professional bass fisherman, who was that idol? That guy that you watched every Sunday morning?
No, that's an awesome question. It's funny too because right now you're watching guys like Shaw.
Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
At Midway USA, we put customers first. The Nitro Express shipping system is icing on the cake. It was a big investment of time and money to take super fast, low-cost shipping to a whole new level. The Nitro Express helps ensure same-day shipping and low shipping costs. We hope you enjoy the Nitro Express. We built it just for you. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
I'm Larry Potterfield with Midway USA. Thanks for your business.
Grigsby retire. He just finished his last tournament this weekend. Rick Clunn just retired. You're talking about Guido Hibden, Tom Martin, Tom Mann, Roland Martin, Hank Parker. You go down the list, and TNN on a Saturday morning, Bassmasters, PBR. I can tell you, PBR rodeo. I watch more rodeo than I'm growing up in the city. I watched rodeo every Saturday because it was on before bass fishing was. So those are some of the guys that you look up to. You grow up fishing like that. Danny Brower, I'm not flipping a black and blue jig unless Danny Brower is flipping a black and blue jig. So some of that stuff just sticks with you over the years. Yeah, I mean Trev, you're talking 40 years ago,
Right.
50 years ago. Yeah.
And some of those guys are now retired, or you see those guys now and you're like, oh man, they're getting old. Them boys are getting up there in age. You're like, oh, I don't even know if they can get on a bass boat anymore, like.
Right. Yeah. Cause it makes you feel old. Cause here I'm watching Shaw Grigsby retire, and I'm like, fuck, that's pretty awesome. He had an awesome career. It's been through all these years. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I'm 50 years old. I've been watching this guy for 40 at least, So
think of this too, David, in the fishing realm in itself. Like when you had started fishing at a young age, we were literally in the hype of the evolution of bass fishing from what it is in that time frame to what it is today. I mean, like, there's a lot of, like, I think lures, right? Like, there's a lot of lures that have come out in the past 15 to 20 years that had never even seen, the bass had never even seen them.
Absolutely. It always baffles me that lures transcend time like a jig and a pig. It's a jig and a trailer essentially, and that lure has been, since it was invented to today, that lure is still effective. It still catches fish. I still catch fish on it myself. And then you have lures that just come up, like you go to iCast or some of these, these new shows where lures are coming out and you're like, oh, I've never seen this before. I've been making, so if you talk about lures specifically, like a fuzzy dice, I've been making fuzzy dice for a year now. So essentially you're taking a soft plastic, you're inserting strands of, like, if you buy a spinnerbait skirt, You cut the strands off that skirt, you insert those strands into that soft plastic, and essentially you're making a fuzzy dice. So stuff like that, uh, it's new and trendy, and fish bite it, and fish seem to be as trendy as everybody else. So it's like you're always fishing the newest trendy thing, catching fish, but then you go to the old school stuff and you're just as successful, but it's like that marketing thing, or you get sold on the new technology. And
Look at like the Whopper Plopper. When that thing came to my bait shop for the first time, I'm like,
oh yeah,
nobody's gonna catch a fish on that stupid lure. Now everybody has one in a tackle box. Whopper Plopper's in everybody's tackle box.
Whopper Plopper, A rig. I mean, you can go right down the line. All of those. I catch a lot of fish on Whopper Plopper. I mean, it's still effective. There's a new one that just came out. Rapala just came out with their own version of Whopper Plopper with a little blade on the top at ICAST. So some of that stuff is you have to have it. There's no other bait that does what that does. There's no other bait that has that spinning tail on it. You could throw a frog, you could throw a buzz bait, but in between that, you can't really stop a buzz bait.
No,
it's gonna sink.
Well,
so
I remember when Jimmy Houston had the Terminator and he put a clicker on a buzz bait, and you were like, "What in the world is he doing? That doesn't sound like anything." But that literally outfished the regular buzz bait, and you're like,
why? Obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's funny you say it, because I just got a bunch of buzz baits in, and some of them had clickers and some of them didn't. And I still will bend that wire to not hit that fucking clicker so much, so it like cuts because it is obnoxious, like that sound. And I'm sure they smash them on them, but I was just like, that thing is making so much noise, man. Everything I like is so subtle, and I'm sneaking in, and I'm doing everything I can to, keep the noise down, and hear this buzz bait's just like cack, 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 cack.
It's good for dogfish.
Well, right? They will smash a buzz bait.
Yeah, they do. They're like northern pike. They'll smash anything that flies over them. So take us back to this first dog that you got you into the waterfowl scene, and what did that look like for you? Like, did you even know how deep you were actually going to roll into this?
Never knew. I mean, I've been duck hunting since I was 12 years old. Always dabbled in duck hunting. Would always go duck hunting. But getting it into the level that I got because of that dog, I never saw it coming. I mean, I got out of the Air Force. I wanted a house, a bass boat, and a dog. The dog ended up being a Chessie, and that Chessie really changed my whole entire outdoor adventure or life or cycle. Or Steve and I were kind of talking about that. Like, it's just like you go through your whatever you want to call it. And sometimes you're fishing, sometimes you're hunting, sometimes you're doing trout, sometimes you're doing bass, sometimes you're doing bears, sometimes you're doing sandhill cranes or mallards or whatever the case may be. And that dog I thought about duck is 24/7, 365 was all waterfowl. After that, that dog was pretty good. It was a better dog than I was a trainer. But the dog that came after that, which was Billy the Kid, that dog I was ready for. So that first dog kind of set the table, but after that, Billy the Kid was the dog that took it to the next level. So you talk about training a dog or bringing a dog into the season or getting ready for the season, or whatever the case may be. You're always working on that dog, no matter what it is. So that dog was something special. So dog is dog of a lifetime. So if you duck hunt and you have a dog that is phenomenal, that was my dog of a lifetime. And I knew it when I had him.
They say that you get one out of the box dog in a lifetime. That's what they say with a dog, right? You get one out of the box dog. That's like, it trains you, it teaches you how to hunt, like, and it's just you could speak to it in Chinese and it knows exactly what to do. Like, that is, you get one in your lifetime. And some people get more, right? But like, was that type of dog for you?
Right. So, I'll talk about the difference between the dogs. My first dog, I was not ready for, and when I say I'm not ready for, I had done some research before I got the puppy, but not a lot. And that dog, we were learning together. So,
Mhm.
as I'm training him, I was finding out stuff that the dog would do, and like for example, like if I wanted him to sit on a whistle, I didn't know how to teach a dog how to sit on the whistle, so I had him do a retrieve on a lead, and I stepped on the lead and blew the whistle, and he stopped. That was the first time that I taught him to sit on a whistle, and that's all it took. Like I would blow that whistle, and that dog would sit. He couldn't get his butt down any faster. But that's not how you teach sit on a whistle. That was him and I kind of figuring it out together. So, um, not the right way to train a dog by any means, but we were learning. So that by the time I had that next dog, the dog training, I mean, I had done a year of research. I had gone through every single training regimen you can speak of. By the time I had picked that puppy up, I mean, it took 2 days just to pick a puppy out of the litter. It took 6 months just to find a litter. I went down to Kansas to get the litter. Was not going to get one of the puppies because I didn't feel like they were right. Put the puppy through a whole entire regimen of, like I had it. So I wanted a male. I wanted a chocolate chassis, and it was down to 4 puppies, and then I was eliminating them by watching them essentially first, and then I would put them through different things. So I had a little bit of retriever. I would separate him. I would put the puppy by himself. Him and I would go outside. I would just walk around, watch the puppy. But then I wanted to come back and see what they were doing like an hour later, or 2 hours later, or 3 hours later. And the breeder was not really on board with what I was trying to
I
do,
was gonna
because
ask
here
that.
she wants to get through all the, she's like, I got people in line, and I didn't pick up like that whole day. I was like, I'm down to 2, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So by the like I was just saying, this second dog, I knew what I wanted. I got that dog, and that dog was next level. So my training regimen is based off of Richard Walters. So if you guys are familiar with Family Dog or Water Dog or Gun Dog, Top Dog, those are the videos and the books that I use. And essentially, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I'm talking the majority of the trainers out there today are using a form of that and calling it their own. So those books have been published since 61.
Wow.
They can call it whatever they want to call it, but it's a version of those, because that dog, those books are based off of behavioral science.
Mhm.
And then you can call it, if you want to push the dog back to the pile, you can call it 6 different names, but essentially you're still making that dog go to a pile of bumpers, no matter what the name you put on it. So um, that's what I used. I put the dog through everything. But in order to keep that dog in line every year, like you're going to talk about getting a dog ready for the season, um, it's the same thing. I like to start from the beginning. You start with basically my dog is 7 years old. He'll go through sit on a leash, and we'll start from there and then go through the whole thing.
So
We'll touch base.
so where do you start? Like if I had a puppy and I'm ready to rock and roll, and it's almost season and we're gonna start training, what does that day look like for you?
Well, you'd have to back up.
Okay, all
'Cause, I
right.
mean, yeah, because you can't have before you touch a puppy, you should be doing all of your research prior. Like once your puppy, so Richard A. Walters, that book says you got to pick that dog up on the 49th day. And there's states like I got my current dog from Minnesota, you can't pick him up till 8 weeks. So you're already behind. So instead of the 49th day, now you're on the 56th day.
Mhm.
So you're a week behind, and that's how. I mean, if you want to talk the importance of a puppy, uh, that week makes a huge difference. It
Really?
really does.
See,
Yeah, because I mean, you're talking about breaking a puppy from its mom to making its attachment to you. So it's an imprint essentially.
and a lot of people though they'll say like you you don't want to, or some people say different, right? Like some people say you start right from the beginning, right? Like myself, I started right from the beginning, but some people will say that they don't start breaking that dog until they're 6, 8 months old.
So this is the difference between a trainer and somebody that's training their own dog.
Right.
So a trainer won't take a dog till they're 6 months old because they got their adult teeth. They can put them in a kennel all day long. The dog should be housebroken for the most part. But if you're training your own dog, my dog is done at 8 months.
Right.
At 6 months he's ready to hunt. By 8, 9 months we're working on directionals and casting, and he's almost finished at a year. So a lot of these trainers take a dog at 6 months because they don't want to take a puppy. They can't have a facility full of puppies because that just wouldn't work. So they're waiting for these dogs to be essentially adults before they take them. So if you're talking about a training program that won't take a dog till it's 6 months,
That's why.
that's kind of the difference between
So
training your own dog.
So what are you doing training your dog? So you're saying at the 49th day is when you want to start training, and what does that training look like?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, you take a puppy out of a litter, you don't know what you have until the end. So that dog, no matter what it does, it could be the best duck hunting dog in the world, or it could not be a duck hunting dog at all, but it has to have obedience. So everything it does on that first training is all about obedience. So you're doing leash work, you're doing sit, you're doing heel. So you'd be walking that dog at heel. You might do a little bit of kennel work, just little bitty things. But that 49th day is when it starts, because that's essentially the imprint between you and that dog, more than it is about making the dog do what you want the dog to do. But within 2 or 3 weeks, you can tell a puppy to sit, and that puppy will sit until you call that puppy. I mean, it's pretty impressive to see a puppy that's 12 weeks old sit on command at 50 yards.
That is
you
impressive.
Just don't see that.
Yeah, right. No, you don't. You don't, because a lot of people are starting them later.
Right. All right. I did have the pleasure of being single. It was just me and the dog. I got all the time in the world. There's a lot of things, like just like the dog now. Like my wife will tell you, you got a kid, you got a wife, you got a job that demands a lot more than you did when you had that dog when you were single and it was just him and you, and you had all the time in the world. So life gets in the way like it normally does. But my dog now, he'll sit in that stand all day long.
We know.
Hold on. Before we get too far, Dave, I gotta ask, what was the name of the first dog?
I knew
First dog is Doc Holliday.
I figured it had. I see the theme going here.
Yeah. Second dog is Billy the Kid, and the third dog is John Wayne.
That's awesome.
So hold on. I understand that they're all from that, but why did you name the dogs that? Like, how do you?
Because I named the dog Doc, Kid, and East. So I want a one-syllable name that's easy to call. So that's not I don't call them that. That's not their call sign, but that's, I was a big Tombstone fan.
Yeah.
And I love John Wayne.
Well, I was going to say, you're not going out there saying John Wayne, you know what I'm saying? Billy the Kid, like you're not saying that.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Only when he's in trouble he gets called by his full
name. Right?
I've heard that before. The one syllable name is better than the two for the dog.
It is. I mean, it's a you could watch a dog react to its name, and a dog that's just got so you also got to watch out for names that are so if you're going to teach a dog to sit and his name is Kit, and I'm saying Kit sit, those are they're too similar. So I'm not going to name a dog, you know what I mean? So it's maybe you change that name, maybe you call a call sign different. Same thing with come versus here. If you got a dog's name that is similar to one of the commands that you're trying to teach it, to reduce confusion. But not many people are worried about the name of the dog. They're, putting a request out on Facebook looking for dog names, or they're naming it after whatever the case may be. But
A gun. It's always a gun.
Yeah.
It's always a gun. I don't know why. It's always a gun.
Yeah. Well, if you're out there calling Beretta,
Yeah. Remington. I never understood that. Like, and nothing against it. I mean, two's his own, right? I mean, you can call your dog whatever you want.
Nothing's better than goose hunting with Weddish yelling goose.
Yeah.
And you're like, where? He's like, no, I'm yelling at my stupid dog.
he doesn't yell at that dog.
No.
Steve, go on.
Goose, down.
That's what happens when you have a high-strung dog. I know it all too well.
That dog is fired.
But that's a tough thing to break, right? Like with them having that much drive, like it's tough.
Well, it's I would rather have a dog with. So currently, I have a dog with no drive, which I turned into a slow drive. To have a high drive dog, so I'm always looking for the alpha, the litter, the number one puppy. Like I want high drive so I can train it, so I can tame them down a little bit. But I would much rather have that than a dog like I have now with no drive that I got to inspire all the time. So I've gone through that training. I mean, you talk about training dogs and learning, and the best trainers in the world aren't training. They don't have the best system. They have experience with different dogs.
Right.
That's what sets them apart. So if you're training a dog to sit, no matter what it is, it's the dog's reaction to that command that you're reacting to that makes you a good trainer. So some dogs pick it up, some dogs don't. You got to put more time into it. No training regimen is gonna tell you exactly what to do. But at the same time, you got to be able to read that dog. So without knowledge of that or even experience, that's tough to do. Like I said, that first dog, we were doing it together. Like if it said 2 weeks to train sit, we took 2 weeks to train sit. Maybe you do it in a week. Maybe it takes 3 weeks. We were doing it in 2 weeks because that's all I knew. Now, if a dog is picking that up and we can move forward, we may touch sit a little bit later, but I'm moving forward a little bit faster if he's already got that down and we can work on other stuff. So the experience training numerous dogs is what kind of makes you a great trainer. Because you have to be able to read the dog. And this dog that I have now has taught me more with no drive, super soft, and it's a Chesapeake. But that dog is, I have to inspire him to go hunt. It's not that I've had dogs that were, they'd not be nudging me in the morning, ready to go. This dog, I got to wake him up.
But you know what? That's one thing. I think that's what makes a dog trainer or somebody who has a dog that's trying to train it in whatever field that they're trying to train it in. The importance is trying to find out what drives that dog, what makes that. Some dogs are food driven, some dogs are ball driven, some dogs are whatever. Who knows?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's you're gaining that experience with the more dogs you touch. You really are. Every single puppy, no matter what it does, if it does the same exact thing, is teaching you something. So if you're helping a buddy train a dog, or if you're looking at a dog, or if it's your own dog, you're learning something along there, because all those dogs are, if you treat every puppy as an individual person, that's what they are. Like everyone is different. They're never going to react to the same thing the same way.
Right. What are some of the trials and problems that you've had to deal with different dogs that were harder to break than others?
Well, this current dog with the drive was probably the biggest, but it transferred over to almost everything. Kennel, simple commands. The dog would walk at heel, but that's all he really wanted to do was just be by you. It was harder to get him to go away than it was to keep him by you. So he always wanted to come back. He's the best dog in the world, but the dog before that is the exact opposite. That dog, I can send the dog before him. If it's a 1/4 mile snow goose, I have no problem sending him. That dog is gone. This dog, he may go out 300, 400 yards and be like, nah. I'm not quite sure about this, you know. So those are the kind of things where it's like this dog has limits.
Right.
I know that. I've been learning that with this dog. Um, so the hardest thing was probably inspiring him to want to duck hunt. I remember the very first time I took him out on it was early season goose, and he was just a pup, and I'm used to a dog just going to get a bird and bringing him back, and he swam out to the bird, swam around it, came back, and I walked out in my waders at about neck deep, a little heated, um, embarrassed more than anything, just because he wasn't making the retrieve, but it's no fault of his. It's my fault, not the dog's fault, no
Right.
matter what it is.
Now, what is your reaction? So say he didn't retrieve it. You went out there. What is your reaction to that? Because I think that's an important part where I think a lot of people screw it up right then and there. Like that's an easy learning experience to screw it up.
Well, it's an awesome point. It really is. So I never train when I'm hunting. So if I'm hunting, so if you could treat hunting like the Super Bowl or game time, and we don't train during game time. We train during practice. And practice is when we're at home training. So if we're out on a hunt, like I would just shut that dog down and sit him in the boat, and then we'll go work on that stuff later. Um, Same thing if you're playing football or baseball or a sport. Like you don't train somebody during a game. When it's game time, it's game. This is stuff you should already know. This is stuff where if you screw it up, you're probably gonna sit on the bench. That's what a dog should do. Sits on the bench. So there's really not a correction you can do. If something if a dog breaks a lot, that's another one. Like a dog that's breaking, same thing. If that dog is breaking while we're hunting, you got to shut that dog down unless you just want it to continue because there's really nothing you can do. The problem with breaking is though you can't really simulate that excitement in a training scenario. So you can't simulate a whole flock of ducks coming sitting in the decoys at home. And some dogs will get, bird wise, where you could train a dog all day long on dummies, but once he sees live birds, that's the transition, that's the difference. So you got to nip it in the bud and do it early. Otherwise, that dog will pick up on that and you won't be able to stop him.
So going back to the scenario where the dog didn't retrieve the bird, right? And you're going to sit him on the bench. What is your personal reaction? Like you're not yelling and screaming and getting mad at the dog and like showing that bad side, right?
You right, that's right. You got to internalize all that, and that's the opposite of uh, I love to yell at a dog. So, and it's funny. I mean, it's funny, not funny, but my first dog, I would get so essentially, if you're giving dogs commands, just in general, and my first dog, I would raise my voice to give a command if it was more important, or I would raise my voice if he was in trouble, or I would raise my voice and the dog would pick up on that. Where my second dog, that phenomenal dog, I would fucking whisper. I would get low. I would tell him commands as quiet as I could all the time because everything was the same, no matter what it was. The dog would have to focus and listen before he would know anything was different.
Mm.
But you don't learn that until you experience, both things. Like if you find yourself just yelling at something or yelling at a dog or yelling whatever it is, that's all on you. That's not the dog. I mean, it's embarrassment. It's you feel horrible. The dog didn't do anything wrong. He don't know any different.
It's so funny, like especially being at the gun club, right? And you see these guys. It's always pheasant hunting, right? And you're out in the field, and these guys are screaming at their dogs because their dogs don't listen, or their dogs don't do this, or their dogs don't do that. Well, wouldn't you think that those dogs are going to just do it more because they're getting reprimanded? Like if they don't do something, somebody's gonna zap them or something. It's there's not positive reinforcement. They're very negative, and that kind of transfers to that dog.
For sure. And I honestly feel it's more embarrassment than it is, because when I can tell you the exact opposite. When I'm in the pit and the dog is on point and phenomenal and making retrieves that nobody's ever seen before, we're high-fiving. Everything's good. Nobody's yelling. The dog is awesome. Everything is great. I didn't have to yell at the dog. The dog was doing what it was supposed to do. That's a great experience. When it's the opposite of that, and now the dog's screwing up or screwing up the hunt, or it's us that's the problem. I mean, it's not the dog isn't doing anything that, like I said, if you fix that beforehand, then you don't have that problem.
Right.
But yelling doesn't solve it doesn't solve anything. Yeah, it really doesn't.
And a lot of that just goes back to those basics when you started that dog, like, right? Like, as far as just regular obedience, like, just sit here, come, stay, like that kind of, like, that's really the fundamentals.
Right. I mean, it's we touched on that a little bit, but if a dog goes through basic obedience, and that was my training experience before I had my very first dog. I'd put 2 dogs through a formal, like, school basic obedience, 50 puppies in a room. You walk around, 6-foot leash, choke chain. You're teaching sit, you're teaching here. That was my only experience. So every single dog that I have goes through that same thing. While we might be working on, some retrieves in a hallway, or, some fun stuff about retrieving, but basic obedience is the core of everything. If I tell a dog to sit, that dog only hears that command one time. He doesn't hear it twice. He doesn't hear it 3 times. And, and so you talk about the history of that book. Richard A. Walters will tell you, sit, if you tell a dog one time, the dog should follow that command. 40 years later, you have a guy coming out with a book that says sit means sit. Well, yeah, we heard that before. Yes, sit means sit. That's it. You don't say sit, 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 sit,
Right.
sit, 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 sit. And I could tell you, with the family dynamic, the kids, the wife, everybody touching your dog. It's hard, man. It is hard to isolate a dog long enough to just get him his core training in before outside interference.
That's I know it all too well. I know it all too well.
Yeah.
It's tough because like we would say, training gun dogs at a young age, like, when we would get a puppy, it was one person's dog, like, in the household. So, like, it's my dad's dog, it's my dog, it's my brother's dog, whatever it is. And that person is the one that reprimands that dog, that trains that dog. Until that dog is 100% to where it needs to be, nobody else gives that dog commands. Like, that dog, but it's tough because, like, you're gone for the weekend, it stays with mom and dad, then they're feeding it bonbons, and then it's not doing what it's supposed to. It's just, you get it, like, it's not easy.
Yeah. The neighbors come over, they're like, oh, don't touch Dave's dog. We can't touch him yet.
That's really how it is.
Well, they will tell you. I did it for a year. So until the dog turned 1, nobody could touch the dog. You can't pet the dog. You can't look at the dog. The dog is literally, essentially, he's in training.
He's got COVID. Stay 6 feet away.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it, though. There's a reason for it.
Absolutely. This is not a family dog. This dog is not just going to sit around and put his paw up for a treat.
I went through it. In the hardest.
That's the hardest part, though. Especially married with kids, like it. It is a family dog, but it's also a working dog, and trying to draw that line and kind of getting the best of both worlds, and it's hard. It's really hard.
Hey guys, this is Melissa Bachman. Are you ready to stop spooking deer before it's even time to hunt them? Then you need the new Flex S Dark cellular trail camera from SpyPoint. With a no-glow flash option, long-lasting solar power, and a ton of settings that can be changed anytime through the SpyPoint app, there are no more excuses for letting your deer get wise before the season even starts. So check it out for yourself and see why the SpyPoint Flex S Dark is the unstoppable and undetectable scouting tool you need for your next hunt.
Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy.
For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to MidwayUSA.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at MidwayUSA.com. Thanks for your business.
Well, I can tell you it's extremely hard, but not only that, but you could take that dog to any level at 1 year, and then after that, it's going to be a downhill, a slow downhill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after it's all the experiences, it rides in the car across the country. I got another dog in the house, so that they're yelling at that dog, but the other dog is in the corner sitting. You know, 2 dogs is even.
It's even worse.
Yeah. You know, you can't yell at one without yelling at the other one.
Nope. I had my lab now, and she lived at my parents' house for a year. I couldn't have her in the apartment, whatever. Now, mind you, Ruby was a like a soldier, like anything, you know, a good gun dog would be, because I was with me constantly, travel, do everything. You know how it goes.
Right.
She went to my parents' house. That dog will never be the same ever again, and she's 3/4 of what she was before, because it's just difference, you know, like different things, train different things. And I would try and go there, and I'd be there, you know, 15-20 minutes every day trying to throw bumpers and stuff, but there's uncontrollables, right, that you can't control when you're not there.
That's life. It's
yeah.
life, man.
And I think the average blue collar dude is dealing with the same problems, and you're not gonna get a 10 out of 10 dog. It's just not gonna happen.
Well, you know, if you know these things going in, it may help a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you can keep a dog, you know, away from all the external factors as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you can, you know, be prepared when you get a puppy before getting the puppy, and then kind of researching afterwards. I still think that first month is, I can do more on that from the 49th day to, you know, whatever it is, 79th. That
Mm-hmm.
first month is just core stuff, you know, and that whatever that puppy picks up in that time, it will duplicate the rest of its life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a.
When you're training your dog, and you're going outside and you're throwing bumpers, or you're going through the basics, say, like, how long is a training session with the dog before it loses interest?
Well, so not only that, but is the dog losing interest? Is it not? So when I'm training a dog or a puppy or at any time, it could be having a bad day. It could be off. Sometimes it could be 5 retrieves. Sometimes it could be 50 retrieves. It's about reading that dog more than it is about a certain number. So if I'm going to say it's 15 days to train a dog to sit, it just depends. You have to be able to read that dog and see. Sometimes, I mean, if he's just ignoring you from the get-go,
Yeah.
maybe you just put it up and start over the next day. It's hard to put a number on anything, because reading that dog is so important.
Mm.
You know, so if it's a time frame, or if it's a number, or whatever that case may be. Like I said, that dog, I had a dog that learned how to sit on a whistle on 1 retrieve.
Right.
You know, it wasn't 14 days. It wasn't an extended period.
Like, are you going out there with one thing in mind? Like you're gonna go out there and you're going to train fetch, or you're gonna train, or are you training multiple things at once, or are you just kind of progressively moving yourself forward day by day?
Um, I like to have a focused area of what we're going to work on. So if we've touched certain things already, I'll know where that dog is at. So right now, if we just started to train a dog or to refresh a dog or to get him ready for the season,
Mm-hmm.
if that dog is a senior hunter, let's say, um, I'm going to start that dog at square one and then see how he does through the whole entire thing and then see where he needs areas of touch up. So
Mm.
maybe your dog doesn't cast very well. Maybe he doesn't sit on a whistle really quick. Maybe he sits on a whistle, but he's facing the wrong direction. Um, whatever I can find to fine tune, I'll work on that area. Um, so that's usually what happens. Like I'll run a dog through from start to finish, and then see something, and if it could be casting left versus right, or sending a dog back. You know, just one simple thing, and then I hit that over and over and over again till it's refreshed.
When you pick out that puppy and you bring it home and you're starting to work on things, at what point do you start to find out if that dog is going to be gun shy or afraid of loud noises or anything like that? Or do you just inquire it in at an early stage?
Yeah, like it's so now, I mean, you'll see a lot of breeders that are kind of putting dogs through introduction to water, introduction to loud noises, introduction to this, introduction to that. So which helps a lot. I mean, if you're a breeder and you're putting puppies through all of that stuff, it can't do anything but help.
Right.
If those dogs have already touched water, if they've already been, if you're banging on pots and pans before feeding or whatever that loud noise is, it doesn't have to be gunshots or it doesn't
Right.
have to be just something that's startling. If they associate that with something positive, that's that learning period where those breeders can do a ton for you. So
Mm.
you pick a puppy up and that puppy's already been associated with loud noises. It's already been associated maybe with water, maybe with feathers, definitely maybe a wing. All of these things that, like you said, you get a puppy that's 6 months old and you bring him to water and the dog doesn't want to go into water. You got a new focus is what you got, because now you got a whole different, the dog I have now, no problem with water. Puppy, no problem with water. 4 months, 5 months old, all of a sudden, that dog was shy to get in the water. We had to start all over again. So it's one of those things where it's, whatever you're coming upon while you're training the dog, you got to kind of step back all the time
Mm.
and touch it again. Because either they forget or something happened or a bad experience. This dog is very aware of bad experiences. And if something happened or, he's stepping on a twig and it hurt his foot, or like he's got a memory like an elephant. Like he's just like he will walk around that little spot for, 6 months.
He's that crazy?
Yeah.
That's got to be
Yeah.
so painful.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, so this is the difference between, so John Wayne is the current dog I have. He's soft as can get. So, but Billy the Kid before him. So Kid, that dog, I sent him on a retrieve. And the sticks they stick in the sand with the Y to hold a fishing rod at
Yeah.
night, yeah. So he took one of those in the chest. It was 18 stitches.
Mm.
So he was on a retrieve, took it in this. He's like, I heard a little bit of a yelp, went out, did the retrieve, came back, and then we trained for like an hour. And he gets in the truck and he gets out and there's a puddle of blood on the seat because it's neoprene seat covers. And I'm like, what the heck happened? So I'm checking him all. I'm checking his feet. Normally got a cut on his feet and everything. Right in the middle of his chest, he had a cut. Like I brought him to the vet. I'm like, dude. He goes, what happened? I'm like, well, after thinking about it, I'm like, well, he ran over one of those Ys that somebody had left in there. The water came up. He hit it on his chest, took it in the chest, and didn't even flinch. That vet sewed him up. Dog never moved. Like stoic. No Novocaine, no nothing. Took 18 stitches and just like a man. This dog, he would run around that stick. First of all, it's just, yeah.
they're all one and the same. They just they do their own thing. They know what they want, and that's what they want.
Right. It's just that's the like I'm talking about. Like it's the experience of all these different, not just my dogs, but buddies' dogs or all the dogs you come into contact with. All of them have a personality.
Mm-hmm.
The dog I have now. He's the nicest dog you would ever meet. The nicest dog. Like he still does everything I want him to do. He just he's he doesn't have no go. He's slow go. But he's not all go. Like, you talk about a dog that's got super drive. That's not this dog.
And that's not typical for a Chessie.
Uh, if you want to talk about, this was the first puppy I didn't get to pick.
Oh, I was gonna add, that was one of my questions. Like, what
Yeah,
happened to the
so
picking process here?
Yeah. So, it was so this dog is out of one of the top Chessies in the country. This breeder does not allow you to pick puppies. He picks them for you. And then they also get them on the eighth week. So, it was a lot different than my other Chessies, where I'm normally picking that. Like, if I don't have number one pick, I won't pick out of that litter. I didn't know what pick I had out of this litter. You go in, you pay your money, and this is the puppy that you get. And since it was out of that Chessie, that was out of the same line as my dog previous, it's a crapshoot. It really is. At the end of the day, even if you're picking the puppy, it's a crapshoot. You can do everything you can to kind of manipulate it, but this dog was not I don't think I definitely would not have picked him if he was a puppy, but he's the puppy I got.
Why did they do that though? What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, I can tell you the reasoning, and I'm not a breeder, and I don't know. But if you got 10 puppies, everybody wants first pick. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th is hard to sell. So if I don't have first pick, I'm already going to the next litter. And so that's my mentality going in before this puppy. So if a breeder knows that and they can't sell 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they're not gonna give picks anymore. They just sell the number, and I'll pick the puppy for you. So I feel like that's the way breeders have gone. Just to make sure that all the puppies are taken. They do have a pretty good understanding of, like, for the normal person that goes in there looking for a puppy, they probably have a better understanding than you would have going in.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that's done his research looking for a puppy that can do specific things, maybe not, but it's a way to make sure all the puppies get sold.
I'm surprised that you even bought a dog from somebody like that you couldn't pick the puppy. Would you do it again?
I would not do it again. No. And I love it. And I love that place. I love the guy. I love the dogs. I would not pick a puppy unless I got first pick. Yeah.
Because you're looking for a specific dog, like most outdoorsmen are. They're looking for a certain dog that does a certain thing at a certain time.
Right. And Chessies are a little like a lot of these Chessies are coming out with white spots on their chest. And I hate that. Like that, if they got a big white spot on there, like it's not. So my first thing was, I don't want a white spot. I don't want any white on the dog. And that might have influenced his pick for my puppy, because maybe the runt was just all chocolate. But that was my first. I don't want to breed a dog. So this dog is not. I mean, he's intact. I could still breed him. It's just.
Why the white spot?
I wouldn't do it again.
Why the white spot? What is the?
It's it's allowable for the AKC on a Chesapeake. It's an American breed. It's part of it. I just personally don't like it.
Right.
Yeah, it's not it doesn't have anything to do with the dogs. The dogs are.
That was, growing up, we had Brittany Spaniels or Brittany's, and like the big thing my father wanted was pretty much all white dogs, and it had to have. They have the wishbone on their head, so they have a heart on the top of their head or a wishbone. it had to have a full wishbone, and it had to be mostly white with little speckling on its legs. Like, that was what it was. I mean, like that. But all of his dogs literally look the same. Like, but
Yeah.
that's just what they want. You know, like different people like different things, you know, shorter nose, or people like certain labs with different features, you know, like I guess it's the same thing, right?
Right, right.
I didn't know about.
And Dave, what is your process when let's say you do have pick of the litter? What are some of the key things that you're looking for that has to have before you say yes to the dog?
So if I have pick of the litter, just personally, so I'm
Yeah.
looking for a male, so I can separate the females right away. If I'm on, so I'm now you can watch those puppies usually throughout the process. Good breeders will have videos or whatever the case may be, but you can see the puppies beforehand. Um, but I'm picking a male, so I can eliminate all the females right away.
Cut you off real quick. Why do you want a male?
It's just what I want.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I was hoping you were gonna give me a reason to I could like.
Yeah, that's just, I think. Well, the females are a little bit smaller in the chest. I don't know if because I've hunted behind some high powered girls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's it's not that they don't have drive or they don't they're soft or anything like that. The males are a little bit bigger. And the reason not even Chesapeake's, but why I chose Chesapeake's over Labs. I was looking for a chocolate lab and I couldn't find one. Nobody had good chocolate labs. And I read about this Chesapeake Bay Retriever breed, and whatever the article was said, if a lab is 4-wheel drive, this one's 4-wheel low. And I was like, oh, I'll take a Chessie. Yeah.
All right. Sorry to cut you off. So you're looking for a male, eliminate the females. Now what are you looking for?
Yeah, if you're whatever. So that usually that's half the puppies right there. So if I'm on site looking for puppies, I separate as I'm going. So I will take all the females and put them either back up or in the kennel or out of the way. But I just want all the dogs that are in the possible selection to be together. So I got the females out of the way, but maybe before that, I watch all the puppies react together. I watch them eat. I watch them go outside. I watch them play a little bit just to get an interaction. So it's pretty easy to pick out a alpha and a runt. It's tough to pick out the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So unless you've watched those puppies for a few hours, you could pick them up. If you could just go to watch puppies randomly and they're all active, or some are sleeping and some are up, it's really tough to get a gauge as to where their ranking is in that litter. So some breeders are really good at feeding the same amount and all the puppies will be the same size. Some breeders let them free feed, and you'll have one that's 8 pounds and one that's 6 pounds. So there's a lot of things, like I said, there's a lot of things breeders can do to make this choice a lot easier. So if they're free feeding, that big dog is always eating more. So you will have an alpha that's 8 pounds, and you'll have a runt that's 6 pounds. You can easily pick them out, but I'm looking for the biggest dog, but I'm also looking for the dog that is the most active. The dog that is like if you walk up to the pen or wherever they are and that dog is reacting to you or interacting with you, maybe I don't want that dog. Maybe I want the dog that's, if I'm watching, let's say we're down to 5 puppies and they're all playing together, and I'll introduce a wing on a string. So I'll get the puppies chased a little bit and see which one is interested in that, and the first one that drops out, I put him with the girls. Okay, so I got the big dog. I got maybe 2 or 3 ones, but the smallest one I've already taken out, and now I've taken out maybe one that already lost interest. So if I'm watching puppies for, like I said, that dog, it took me 2 days to pick, and I was probably there 8 hours. I watched the dad run. I watched the mom run. I watched those puppies for probably 6 hours at each interval. So I watched them eat. I watched them sleep. I watched them wake up. I watched them, just interact with each other. And then I took them individually out into the yard and then watched every single one of them. So I would just, So at the end, if I'm down to 2 puppies, let's say, I'll put that puppy on the ground and just take off and walk across the yard and see what that puppy does. And the best dog that I had, I turned around and the dog was gone. And I was like, oh, jeez, I just lost his puppy. Come to find out, he's right at my feet. He had followed me 50 yards across the yard and was already following me. You know, so those are the kind of things where it's a deciding factor. Is it still a crapshoot? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, but that alpha dog with drive and just, you know, being able to tame him down rather than to pump him up is much easier than to, you know, if you're waterfowl hunting or whatever you're doing. A family dog, maybe you don't want that dog. Maybe you want something in the middle, something, you know, maybe on the lower end. But there's tons of things you can do, man. You know, you could interact with the puppies, you could play with the puppies, you could put a wing on a string. You could watch them eat. You know, but yeah. Time with them is probably the most important thing. Yeah.
Because you're looking for that certain dog to do certain things. Like you're going to start, especially starting right then and there, because you're going to, at day one, when you get the dog, you're going to start training with it. So if it starts to follow those rules and regulations.
Yeah. You got to, you know, if you introduce a wing, that's a lot of prey drive. You know,
right.
you're instilling, you know, that those dogs should all have some kind of prey drive on it, essentially, without you doing anything. You know, that dog's been they've been bred to retrieve. So, you know, you shouldn't be trying to inspire that dog to go get something fun like that.
Right.
You know.
What does the breeder say? Like, do they normally care, or they kind of deal with that on the daily day?
I'm probably an asshole customer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
little over the top.
Dave's passing it along, and so
yeah,
I just
want. What, though, Dave, that's a big decision, man. Like, that's a dog that's going to be with you for 10, 12 years plus, right? Like, you want to do everything you can to get it. Like you said, there's no guarantee, but at least you know what you're starting with.
Well, right. I mean, if you talk to somebody and they walk into a group of puppies and this puppy was just picked me out because he was the one jumping. I'm like, well, you know, that breeder didn't do a good job. Those dogs shouldn't be jumping. They should be in a facility where they're not jumping. You're in there with them and they're all on the ground, so you can approach them. So if you have them in a pen and the dogs have to jump to see you, that dog's going to jump on you when it's an adult.
Right.
So little things like that. I mean, breeders can do so much to just determine how a dog is in its adult life that I don't think it's really they don't do enough. They really don't. You know, if you thought about everything you do in that developmental stage for a puppy, just putting it in a pen, and if you walk up and the puppy's got to jump on the side to see you, that puppy knows that it's got to jump to see you when it's an adult. So that's the same puppy that's jumping on your legs, same puppy that's jumping in your lap when you're, you know, it was an instilled behavior that it had from the get-go.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com. Midway USA offers a wide selection of high-quality magazines from top manufacturers catering to various firearm platforms and specific disciplines of shooting. 223 is a staple, and 6mm ARC mags are just a few clicks away. If you own a clock, just bought a 6-hour, or want to shoot your 1911 a little more, you can visit MidwayUSA.com to get another magazine. Plinkers with a Ruger 1022 can have nearly as much fun shopping for a drum magazine as they can shooting it at the range. For just about everything for shooting, shop MidwayUSA.com.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
So it's little things like that. You talk about a breeder that's like an engineer or a psychologist, and then you go into their playpen and the dog's got bells and whistles and ramps and bridges and all these little things that can the puppy can interact with, versus the puppy that's sitting in a thing of paper.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That dog down the line is gonna since the day it was born, it has bumpers and this and that, and it totally, that's the difference.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's or a breeder that gives them stuffed animals, and they chew the shit out of stuffed animals for an hour, and then 2 years later it's chewing on your shoe, and you're like, I don't know why this dog chews on shoes.
It's used to it.
Wives are really good at doing that shit too.
What, chewing on shoes?
No, bringing them home a new toy every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
That is the worst. That was one thing that when I had gotten a dog is we wouldn't allow balls in the house, because well, it's a little bit different because our training regimen was that she got a ball when she did what she was supposed to do as a risk reward, like a bomb dog, right? That
Like a
was kind
canine
of
does, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So that dog was trained as that, to find antlers, and when she found antlers, then she would get a ball to play with. So the dog wasn't allowed to play with toys or anything inside the house because it was only given a toy when it as a positive. So that's a little different. But then it gets stuffed
Did
animals.
you do Dawkins?
What's that?
Was that Dawkins training for the shed?
Part of it, yes, part of it. And then some of it was I have a good friend of mine, Yellow Shed Dog, and he has his own training regiment that I actually followed, and he was the reason why I had started doing it. And it was on moose antlers, and he actually, so his training regiment was the dog would find an antler and bring an antler back, and then he would give it a little piece of chicken, like a boiled piece of chicken, as its reward. Well,
Sure.
my dog is not food driven. She don't give a shit about a treat. She don't give a shit about food. She don't give a shit about nothing. And I for a long time, mind you, this is my first dog, kind of like, your first dog, where you're kind of learning together and trying to learn this. And one day I was with a couple of Navy SEALs, and they were the dog trainers from the Groton sub base. And we were talking about dogs and training, and I was asking him a ton of questions, and he was like, try a squeaking toy. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, squeak toy. He's like, my canine dog right now likes toys, or balls. So we were doing some training that night, and she brought back an antler, and I threw a ball for her, and she lost her mind, and it just clicked, it just was like, wow, that's it. The problem now that I have with her, she's so ball driven. If the kids are playing with a ball or something, she loses her mind. So but you can't. The problem there, and I'm kind of torn. I just don't bring her out when the kids are playing with balls, because I can't correct her on it. That's her thing, right? Like, what do you do?
Right.
You're kind of torn because you can't yell at the dog and tell her that she can't have the toy when
Got to put her up. Yeah.
it's just, you just put her inside and lock her up, and that's the end of it, But it's kind of crazy because you really have to read the dog. If you're not reading the dog's going to tell you what it wants, right? Like, that's just the way it is.
Eventually, right?
Yeah. It takes a little
Same
while.
thing. Same thing. You don't, take a waterfowl dog out and throw a stick.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the reason for that, so everybody else knows?
So if you throw a stick, that dog will think a stick is a retrieve. So if the dog is going on a retrieve and it sees a stick, it may stop for a stick. It may use a stick so there's a lot of shit floating around. I mean, if you're in flooded timber, if you're in the shoreline, wherever you're at, there's sticks everywhere. If a stick is your reward, I mean, usually labs, chassis, you give them their retrieve is their reward.
Right.
but I would highly advise that nobody uses sticks to. We have a house dog that's a lab, and that dog will pick up any stick at any time, no matter if he's going out to get a bumper and he sees a stick or smells the stick or thinks the stick is over there. He chooses the stick over everything because he can chew a stick to shit.
Right. Right.
Like that's his jam.
Dave, I had a Springer. I got her for my 18th birthday. And you want to talk about the retrieve being her reward? That's all this dog ever wanted to do was retrieve. And like I was 18 years old, so just like, it's the first dog, you don't know what you're doing. Dude, anytime you took her outside, she'd just throw me something. And you'd stop by the house and we'd just be bullshitting in the driveway, and she'd come over and she would drop something at your feet and just start barking at you. Come on, throw it. And you'd pick it up and you'd just throw it just go. She'd come back with it. Come back. So finally you get sick of throwing it and you just like put it away. She'd come back with a wood chip, a piece of leaf, a grass, setting it right on your boot. Come on, throw it. Like, what am I going to do with this little tiny thing? And she
doesn't matter what it is.
Oh my God, it was so annoying, but would not stop. That's all she wanted to do was retrieve. Non-stop.
Did you hunt with her like that? Like she retrieved or anything like that?
She was just
no?
a spaz, bro.
Yeah.
Would not stop. I mean, hours. You throw your arm out trying to. Just did not want to do anything but play fetch.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. They just want a job, right? They just want a job, some type of job. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Chessies. They don't whine a lot, so if they're all excited, they don't make any noise. But a lab, if you're sitting in the blind and he's just like bark, 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 going crazy.
Yeah, that's the
Love
problem.
That retrieve.
Yep. Dave, we really appreciate you jumping on with us, man. It's been absolutely awesome. I don't think that it will be the last time. We do appreciate it, and I guess we got to dive a little deep, maybe into fishing sometime. We've had a lot of fishing podcasts, so the breakup for dog training, and everybody's kind of doing it and finding it. So we do appreciate you jumping on. But before we let you go, Dave, can you tell us what drives you outdoors?
Ooh, what drives me outdoors? Like we talk about, it's a cycle, man. So what drives me outdoors personally has changed throughout the years. So it's always a challenge. It's always something new. It could be the gear. Like right now I'm into a bunch of gear. Like I love buying new shit. But I think it's really about, the new challenge. If you've been hunting and fishing for a long, long time, and you go to a new species or a new location, or you travel, or whatever that case may be, that's what it gets me excited about, is stuff that you haven't done, and it's a new experience. So
there's so many doors to open up as an outdoorsman. You can challenge yourself in so many different ways, and it's like being I don't know where my train of thought is. I was going to say something about golfing, but I didn't really know what to say because I don't know much about golfing, so I'll just leave it alone. Never mind.
Would you watch Happy Gilmore Friday?
I did. I watched Happy Gilmore. I did. Yeah.
That was horrible. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was never going to match. The first one is a time-tested classic. It's 29 years old, so, like, it's not going to be as good as the first, but there's a lot of good cameos, a lot of good inside jokes.
How much did he spend on cameos, dude? He had every famous person for the past 25 years in that movie.
There was some that I missed. I didn't even know till after. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't even realize that was who that was.
My favorite part was all the flasks he had. Like, everything was a flask.
The cucumber.
He grabs a golf ball and he's...
Sequels are never good as the first one. It's just the way that it goes.
Yeah.
It's just a flashback to the first one. But, Dave, we appreciate it, man. We can't wait to see you. And everybody, where can they find you? I almost forgot that part.
Oh, Bass Fishing Northeast is the Instagram. So that's like I've been working with Trico Rods a little bit. So working with those guys. But Bass Fishing Northeast on Instagram is where we've been putting that stuff up. So
cool.
Shout out to those guys. They've been a huge supporter. If you, I don't know if you guys are bass fishing at all, or walleye fishing, or any fishing that, even trout. But if you're like using a spinning rod for trout, like the sensitivity on the rods is unmatched.
Really?
It's awesome. So
We'll have
that's
to
where
check
we're
that
at.
out. Awesome. We appreciate it, Dave. And for everybody else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.